Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the 361 program. And today it's called Cry Baby. It's all about crying and PTSD. 1. Drink my own tears. Did you know that when you have PTSD, you can't cry? Well, it's very difficult to. I didn't used to know this until I actually realised after 2 years that I hadn't cried. When I had PTSD, diagnosed 2015. And it was all bottled up in the true sense of the word, I think, for me. At that time, I was performing a really funny routine in part of my stage show, which was called Drink My Own Tears. As I say, unbeknownst to me that this was an issue for me, like a lot of my mental health, I was just kind of laughing about it. And I used to totter around in drag, in heels, taking different bottles off the shelf, probably hinting at my drink problem to myself. And each vintage was a different tears that a man had made me cry. I thought it was funny and clever and everybody laughed, so that was okay, wasn't it? 2. Surprise! When I finally cried, I was at the wheel of my gold Mini in the middle of Birmingham city centre, and not a great place to cry. And once the floodgates opened, that was it. I was sitting there for about, I don't know, maybe an hour with people beeping their horns and trying to get round me. I didn't know whether the tears were backed up and delayed or whether it was just, I don't know, it just seemed really embarrassing, to be quite honest with you. And I'd been used to being very detached, which is another classic sign of PTSD. 3. There was no way those taps were going to close, so apple sigh. The most natural tears I've ever cried are when my father was lying very close to death. They flowed out of me, and it was a beautiful relief, so smooth. They just appeared, and they ran down my face. And the grief that followed was angry tears, the snotty kind, but those particular tears, they were pure. So I think we cry different tears for different occasions and different emotions. When I was in an abusive marriage, my eldest son would eat an apple pie I'd made, and he'd say, "Mum, I think you were sad when you made this pie." And he was right. You could sort of taste the sadness of the tears in the pie. This is kind of sad, isn't it? I had cried into that pie, and we nicknamed these pies Apple Sigh. 4. Predictably unpredictable. Tears are healthy, but they are unpredictable, and that's okay. In England, we're still very much expected to keep it together, even at funerals, and I think this is really unhealthy grief. So let me ask you something. When do you cry? How often? And when do you hold in your tears? I spent most of that marriage with sunglasses on, to be honest, to hide the fact that I was continually crying. I always used to feel a bit ashamed of crying in public. I used to cry a lot on trains when I was going through my repossession, sort of absolute kind of frustration. And people did look uncomfortable, but they did avoid me and ignore me as well. So I kind of got used to doing that. I just think it's a sad reflection on society that we just ignore people that are crying, though. Try not to do it now. And now I say to myself, if I need to cry, I'm just going to go on and cry, and other people's reactions aren't my responsibility. The 361 recovery program can help you to identify the emotions that you might be bottling up. And that's the first step. They could be buried in childhood, PTSD, family patterns, or some mental health problems, or losses that you just need to revisit. The 361 can help you to release those emotions healthily. Crying is a really healthy release, but also you'll probably have something you really like: walking, running, music, art, performing, sport, you name it. There'll probably be something that you could do more of to release those emotions. And really, the 361 can also help you to see where you might be numbing those emotions. The addictive behaviours always come from numbing the uncomfortable emotions. So, yeah, maybe you can find the pain and release it and cry, have a good cry. I still think it's something that's pretty difficult. I think we grow up with family patterns on crying, and and emotions like shame that are just attached to them. So have a think about it this week. Hope you enjoyed that. The 361 Recovery Programme is coming out Monday and Wednesday on YouTube and blog. And also it's going to be a podcast, and lots of other ways are appearing magically that it's going to be shared with you. So thank you for listening. Bye.